Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Ryan, a certified strength and conditioning specialist from theworkoutcorner.com, and you know what today is. It is a great day for working out, staying in shape, being awesome. Welcome to another episode of Mind Food Monday, where I pick the top 3 questions from the comment box below. Winner of the best question gets free access to my 80/20 toolkit. So yeah, before we jump into the question, we had the muscle growth formula masterclass last week. Great time with the guys who joined. Had a blast. I show the 4-step formula to putting on muscle, and also they got my 10-week transformation program, which is the workout plus all the food intake for those 10 weeks. And at the end, we had a really great Q&A session, a lot of questions asked. So the live version's obviously over, but you can still grab a recording of it, plus the workout, plus the bonuses by clicking the link below and get started there. So let's jump into our questions. All right, first question has a question. Imagine that. Hey Ryan, what are your views on high-intensity interval training opposed to just normal cardio? I've heard that it's better for many reasons, such as not eating away at your muscles and just targeting the fat in the body. But does it really make a big difference, if any at all? Or will any form of cardio benefit me in my goal to burn fat and reveal the muscles? P.S. Really enjoying your videos. You got a cool personality and your vids are very informative. Thanks in advance. Well, thank you, good sir. I'm glad you are enjoying the videos here. And to answer your question, high-intensity interval training is a great form of cardio that you can use to help burn some fat. So yeah, I would definitely incorporate that into your cardio workouts. Make sure you still do some slow, steady-state cardio, but add in some high-intensity interval training, and you're going to see some great results. All right, hope that helps. Erkan Hassan says, is training to failure always best for muscle and strength gains? Because I've heard it can cause overtraining or end up tiring out your nervous system. Yeah, great question. And I always suggest training to failure. You got to be careful because failure is kind of a relative term. So when I'm thinking of training to failure, it means that you got the last rep up that you physically could get by yourself. If someone spotted you, you could have gotten a lot more. That type of failure training is okay because you're really not totally depleting yourself. Where you want to watch out with what you were asking about is if you do have a partner or someone and you are literally like going through total failure where they're doing 70-80% of the rep and you're only doing 30%. That's where you want to be careful that you're not doing that every time you work out, because it's easier to overtax your system. Alright, hope that helps. Alright, Zud says, hey Ryan, I was wondering how to get your chest more cut. I have a naturally larger chest and it seems like I store fat in my chest even more than my stomach. Mike. Alright Mike, this is kind of a common question, maybe not necessarily with chest, but with all of different body parts. And the first answer is you can't target a specific body part and say, alright, I'm going to zoom in and lose fat from here, right? Our body takes fat away from it entirely and not one specific part. But what you're noticing is we're all different and we all kind of carry extra weight a little bit differently. Some have it more like in their chest and in their stomach. Like I carry it in my face pretty quickly. So you'll just learn that as you are training and losing weight. And what happens is once you start losing weight, those last points of resistance where you normally carry a lot are going to be the ones that have fat left. So in this case, it's like your chest. And so here's where you really got to buckle down and really zoom in on that fat loss and get a little more strict, because the more fat you lose and the less that you have left, the more your body's going to kind of hold on to it, and it gets harder and harder to get rid of it. You can still do it, it just means you have to do more and more things right. Like when you're initially starting out, if you haven't worked out forever and you're really out of shape, you're going to start losing fat really quickly because your body doesn't know what's going on. But once you get down, you go from, well, here's an easier way. Talking with some guys this weekend about it. When you go from, it's easier to go from 15% body fat to 10% body fat than it is to go from 10% to 7% or 8%, right? That requires much more work, just that 2 percentage point drop versus the 5. And that's, again, following that kind of principle. And so that's kind of what you're running into here. So don't worry so much about training the specific part. Just keep going on your fat loss regimen and you will get the results you want. All right? Hope that helps. Alright fellas, that'll do it for an episode of Mind Food Monday. Go ahead and put your questions in the comment box below and I will get to those next week. Question. Thank you for your question, good sir. You are the winner this week. Go ahead and put a comment in the comment box below so I know you saw this. Get you hooked up with my 80/20 course. Everybody else, have a good week. Lift hard. I'll see you next Monday.